Alright guys, welcome to the week 33 economics course. So, we have fiscal and monetary policy. Excuse me. So this week guys, you have two sets of lectures notes. In fact, these two topics are the last macroeconomics topics we're going to talk about. After this, we only have 5 weeks remaining. So it's going to be a focus on a 3-week unit for personal finance, which you're going to have a little preview activity in here with the jobs and salary research. And then after that, we have the 2 weeks of finals research stuff to do. So real fast, guys, you have two lecture PowerPoints here. You have your, go ahead and set that to my copy so I don't forget, your digital answer sheet, the week 33 monetary and fiscal policies, and you have the two lectures, and of course there will be a third video, which is this one being made right now. Okay, you'll have 5 things to do. The lecture notes on fiscal policy, then you have a research activity to do on the CARES Act of 2020, which is the coronavirus stimulus package. Then you've got the lecture notes on monetary policy, which will be the final one, and gonna be honest, guys, these are a little bit dry. These are not the most exciting topics in economics, but they're a nice way to kind of cap off the end here. Then you'll have a short activity where you'll do a little bit of research on job and salary. And finally, I have 2 videos assigned to you related to fiscal and monetary policy. So let's go and go down. So as per usual, guys, I have the lecture notes space where because I'm not there to direct you every single time, go through it, and of course the videos can kind of help you figure out what is the most pertinent information. Then for your first activity, or first research, the 2020 CARES Act or Coronavirus Stimulus Act. So you'll investigate the CARES Act stimulus that was meant to address the economic damage done by the COVID-19 outbreak with direct fiscal policy. That statement will make more sense because, once you get to it, because you will have done the fiscal policy lecture by then. You're going to do it in 2 parts. First, you're going to look at the official government website of the Treasury and its description of what it's supposed to do. And then you're going to look at least 2 news media reports talking about what it actually did. So for each of these, you're going to fill in the specific notes or questions. Part 1, using the government website, and I've given you the link here. It takes you to this page where it gives you a brief overview, and then it gives you a 4-point set of links for each of the 4 different quadrants of the economy it was meant to address with policy. So for each of these guys, you'll notice I have boxes that coincide with it. For each of the 4 fiscal policy aspects, state the method by which the Act provides economic relief. Give specific details and numbers. Don't just give me a variable one. So for assistance for American workers and families, click Learn More. Okay, there are numbers here. Give me numbers, guys. Give me like a 1 bullet point description of how this works, and give me a bullet point of the numbers. Okay? Then we have the small business one. Same thing. Give me a summary and give me some numbers. Summary and numbers, guys. Summary and numbers. Okay? So that's that page. Then part 2, using a news source. Google search CARES Act news. Or go to a preferred news website and then type in CARES Act or Corona Stimulus. Okay, either one is going to get you the answer. So I just do CARES Act news, and I get a whole set of them. Now some of them, like The Crimson or Como News, I've never heard of, but The Hill is a well-known, slightly right-leaning news source. NPR is a very nonpartisan, middle-of-the-road one. Politico is a slightly left-leaning one. So as I go on, again, I have New York Mag, which is a relatively well-known one. So we can see different websites. Fox Business, obviously Fox News is a far-right source of news. MSNBC is a left, not quite far left, but close source of news. Not as bad as, say, a HuffPost. Excuse me. So you can go through there. Or if you want, you can simply go to, say, like CNN or BBC, and BBC has a special set for their US news, and you can go there as well. And in those cases, I want you to copy and paste the link on the left and show where you got your information, and then on the right, answer this question. Does the article describe it in positive or negative terms? What went right or wrong? And give details. Okay, so I'm essentially asking 3 things. All right? Is the article mostly suggesting there was positive or negative outcome? What specifically are they talking about? Like, what's the main topic of their argument, their thesis? And, of course, give me at least one supporting detail. So these should each have 3 bullet points. Moving on, you'll move to the final lecture of economics, the monetary policy, or at least the theoretical side, since we're moving into personal finance, which is a very practical aspect of econ. Okay, then you've got your next activity research. So, jobs and salary. Now, we're doing this week instead of next week because it kind of balances out the pacing a little better. So, here's your context. This is a preliminary activity that was intended to be an early exercise for the final unit on personal finance, meaning this is something we would have done at the very end of a Friday to preview next week, shifting into personal finance unit. Now, here's your directions. You need to find 3 different jobs that exist in the United States today. The jobs should all be different in the following ways. 1 needs to have no higher education requirements, meaning one of these jobs is a low-paying high school graduate-only job. One of these needs to be a realistic job an average person could get, meaning one that you have probably thought about as a viable option. And no, guys, NFL quarterback is not a realistic job for an average person. Okay? There are like 32 of them or something like that, starting quarterbacks out of the 340 million Americans. It's not a realistic job for an average person. So, realistic jobs for an average person are something like bus driver or welder, okay? Something like that. And then one should be a dream job with a high income. So think of something unrealistic, some kind of long shot job like astronaut or plastic surgeon or hotel owner. Okay, something like that. Okay. Now, I've given you a website that's real easy to use. So this is the Pay Scale Research website. It's going to show up like this. It already has teacher here. So, for instance, I already have teacher preloaded. Oh, man, it disappeared. Teacher, hit enter, and then it gives me a whole bunch of statistics on this. It tells me the average teacher salary is $49,302. You notice I already have that there. Now, it also says level of education needed. Here's the thing. This website does not tell you the level of education needed. Okay? It doesn't carry this, meaning this is something you'll have to find out on your own. Now, how do you find that out on your own? What is the incredibly complex trick to this? You Google how many years of education to be a teacher. Okay, now this says 4 years. However, in California, it actually requires 5 years technically because you need a bachelor's degree and you need a teaching certificate. Okay, so it says 4 years to do an education one. So 4 or 5 years. Okay, I have it as 5 years in my example because that's the California requirement. We're a little more stringent than other states. Keep in mind that when I say other states, I'm referring to places that have economies the size of Los Angeles County, not even the state of California. So, find the median yearly pay, which you'll find right here. Then you need to find the monthly pay, meaning divide by 12. So you take this number and you divide it by 12. It's that easy. Then the median top salary. The median top salary, guys, is what we have here in the 90th percentile. So when we look at this, we see this number here. And in this case, it's a general number rather than a specific dollar amount, but that's fine. So we would put 74K, which is what I have here, 74,000. So that's a real basic example. You can't do teacher. Find 3 other jobs. I promise you can do them. And keep in mind, guys, sometimes they're going to have considerable variations. For instance, if I put in police, well, okay, you notice there's a whole bunch of different levels. There's officer, there's patrol officer, detective, sergeant, chief. So for instance, police officer, you're looking at 51,674. But if I put in police detective, oh, nope, that doesn't work, sorry. Jeez. Actually, let's do chief. So if I do chief, you'll notice the salary goes up because that is a job that requires a higher degree of education and expertise and experience. Okay? And lastly, you have 2 videos. One is Fiscal Policy and Stimulus. Now, this video series was made before the current crisis, but after the 2008 recession. So it's going to be talking primarily using examples from the 2008 to 2013 recession. However, the concepts are going to be the same, just not the exact details. So this will still give you a lot of good information. 10 notes on it, please, and 10 notes on the second one, which is What's All the Yellen About? Janet Yellen was a former Fed chairman, a title that will make sense when you guys read or do the monetary policy lecture, and monetary policy in the Federal Reserve. Okay? All right, that is it for the instructions, guys. Remember, my office hours are going to be 9 to 10 a.m. on Thursday and Friday, and you can, of course, email me at any time. And I will see you next week. Goodbye.